Hello and welcome to our virtual back to school night. My name is Andrew Garrett. I'm your son or daughter's Algebra 1 teacher. So obviously it would be a lot nicer if I was able to meet you face to face. But I guess this is the next best thing. I guess one of the main purposes of our back to school night is for you, the parent, to get to see or get a little bit better idea of your kids' teachers. So at least through the video, you'll get to see me a little bit and hopefully I can use this opportunity to really fully explain how things are going in class. The way the class has been structured now with all the changes that have been necessary for this semester. Um, you know, I guess obviously a downside of this is the fact that I'm not able to answer questions. So if you do have any questions or anything or any suggestions or things that you think I can do to better help your kid, please feel free to email me. This is definitely a work in progress. We're every day, every week, we're trying to improve things, trying to, the things that are working less than ideally. We're trying to improve those things that are going well. We're trying to, just keep emphasizing that and build on that. So, but it's definitely a work in progress. This is something that is new to everybody, both the students and the teachers. But yeah, I really think that the best thing I can do for you right now is just give you kind of a full tutorial of our Schoology site and the things that are available online and kind of how the class is being structured right now. So let's take a look at our Schoology page. All right, so here is a look at our course page on Schoology. When students sign in to Schoology and then click on our course, this is the page that should come up. This is our materials page. There's other things here, but this is what should come up. So a lot of times when I'm giving directions, I'm referring to starting at this point right here. Something that you can do too, you'll probably see a lot of similar information as to what I'm talking about right now. But this was the first day video where I tried to explain how the course is going to be run. As I said originally, though, I have been trying to steadily improve things, each day, each week. So this is very similar to what I'm talking about, but what I'm going through now is actually probably even more updated. So as far as the daily schedule or the daily procedure, students are told whether they're in school or at home, they're supposed to click on this link right here. It takes them to a Google form where they sign in for the day. That just helps me keep everything organized with the fact that I have some in school, some at home. So they sign in there. Whoops. And they should be getting in the habit by now of doing that. I still have students that forget to do that sometimes. I try to emphasize that both when they're here or when I'm on a Google Meet, which I'll talk about in a second. But I've been trying to get that ingrained in their brains for this class. That every day for my class they're signing in here. After that, if they're at home, they can check this. If they're at school and they just want to have an idea what's going on that day, they can check this folder too. But this is mainly so that the students who are at home know exactly what they're supposed to do for that day. Today is September 21st. That's when I'm filming this. You can see these are all the previous weeks. If you want to go back, if a student missed Wednesday last week, they could click on Wednesday, September 16th here, figure out exactly what we did that week. Hopefully they know that by now, but here's today. So it tells them exactly what to do for the day. And you would see if you go back in the directions for earlier in the semester, it was much more detailed probably early on. I'm hoping that students are getting the hang of things now, so it's maybe not quite as detailed now, but here it does tell them they're supposed to sign in. They're supposed to do it at the beginning of each block. And then almost every day we'll have a Google Meet at the start of the block for a variety of reasons. I like to use that time to go over a warm-up, something that probably has to do with the previous day's lesson or something that I just feel like we need to work more on as a class. But that way I can use that time to make sure that everybody is doing whatever I can do to help everybody with the material that's important or that's relevant for that day's lesson. We can also use that time for students to ask questions and things. But to start every block, almost every day there is a Google Meet. So one of the things I've been trying to stress too with students this semester is that it's not like the spring. Class right now is not like the spring, whereas the spring there was a little bit more flexibility, a lot less structure as far as specific times, because everybody was trying to just do the best they could in the spring with businesses being shut down, families being home, kids having other responsibilities. But this semester, it is more structured. So whenever I have your son or daughter in class, whether that's block 2, 3, or 4, they are supposed to be in my class, whether virtually or in school, during that specific time. So if they're at home, yes, I will have things like, at 9:20, block 2, they're supposed to be meeting with me today, where we will go over a warm-up today, and then I'll also use that time to explain the lesson for that day or everything that needs to be done. I'll give more direction on this stuff here, but everything that should be accomplished that day I will go over. Also, any other notes that I think would be helpful. So students really do need to show up for those Google Meets. Another thing I'll usually do, if I'm doing an actual lesson that day, today I'm not doing an actual lesson, we're reviewing today, but if I was doing an actual lesson today, I would also then probably say at the end of our Google Meet, anybody who wants to sign off and just watch the video of the lesson, they can do that, or anybody who wants to just stay on the Google Meet, I will project or I'll video everything we're doing in class, and then they can actually just kind of maybe feel more like it's an actual class, make it a little bit more normal. That's also a nicer way in case questions come up. Students can then have the ability to ask questions. Other days, if I'm not doing a lesson, I will probably say at the end of the Google Meet, if anybody has questions, please stick around. That way I'm trying to do whatever I can to help individuals, though there are so many moving pieces right now. It's this is a tough format here for everybody. Okay, so this is a tough learning format for everybody, but I'm trying to do the best I can. Like I said earlier, just to make the most of whatever opportunities we have. Another, I guess, positive here would be because we're trying to have everything available for students at home. There are videos for the lessons, so if a student wants to go back and learn something, or if you as a parent want to help with something, I'm not sure this probably isn't what you signed up for, but yeah, you can actually.
Welcome to Chapter 2. Chapter 2.
Yeah, so you get the point. You can actually go back, and this is a little longer, but a lot of the videos aren't that long. So you can actually, depending on how motivated you are, you can actually go back and watch lessons and know exactly what was taught to your son or daughter for that specific material. Another thing you can see on here is on the side, I try to post when we're having quizzes or tests. So far, what we've been doing is having the quizzes be online. It just scheduling wise, it's very difficult to do paper assessments because we have the two different schedules basically with half students here, half students at home. But I am trying to do all paper tests or all paper assessments for tests because I do really think that is ideal. That's best for math to actually have paper tests. So that's what we're doing for tests. Quizzes, they're not quite as much material in there, so we've been doing those online. But that's the way things have been going right now. Some other things just to point out would be Power School. So if you check your son or daughter's grade on Power School, please know that anytime you see zeros in there, those are assignments that still can be done. Yes, if they're past due, the students will lose some credit for it being late, but anything is better than nothing. So please don't think that if your kid has zeros that's an opportunity that's already passed. They can still go back and work on that. Especially the other thing would be the quizzes. So quizzes, with it being online, our first quiz, I had students that didn't take the quiz and still haven't taken the quiz. So yes, I have a 0 in there. Now for a quiz, that's not something that is going to be graded quite as harshly as like a homework or something that's late. But I can't give grades to assignments that are not given to me. So if you see any zeros or things like that in Schoology or in Power School, please encourage your kids to do those assignments. The other thing is, because again it's a little less traditional, normally students would just hand me something and I would know that it was turned in. With things being online, I don't always know if something's done. So I always tell them when they finish an assignment or do something online to message me on Schoology so that I know to check it, so that I can give them credit then. Other things here, I didn't actually go through this. This would be more the standard stuff that I would talk about for a back to school night. And you can see here, there's a video actually on Schoology of me going through the syllabus. So if you want to watch that, that was something that your son or daughter or your kiddos could have or should have seen by now. But that's something you can also go through just to understand more of like the Algebra 1 policies or course information. With things being so different this year, I just felt the more important thing to focus on for this back to school night would be kind of how things are going online, and get you somewhat familiar with that, so that way if you need to provide suggestions at home, you can do that, or if you just want to utilize any of the resources yourself, you can do that. Oh, another thing while I'm thinking of it, I'll try to shorten this video up at some point here. But another thing, as far as how the lessons have been working, here's what your kids are supposed to do. So say a student that was at home on this day, the notes, I print out the notes for them ahead of time, so they should have those notes. They watch a video of me going through the lesson, follow along, copy down the notes, all that stuff. But then there's these check for understandings to try to assess how things are going, and try to help any misunderstandings before your kids keep going. So the way this is intended, and I really feel like if students utilize the way it's intended, it's much, much, much more effective. So like for this check for understanding here, let's see. Sorry about that. So here we got 6 questions. So there's 6 questions on this check for understanding. So what your kids are supposed to do, they do these 6 problems, and then after that, they click on here, and it says for any of the videos or any of the problems that they got wrong, they're supposed to watch an explanation of that problem. So they'd click on right here, and then here would be the problem that they got wrong. If they clicked on it, then they must have gotten it wrong. And they can watch an actual full explanation of how it should have been done. So I'm trying to really make sure that students are doing that, because again, with them being at home, for example, there's less opportunity to ask questions, and I get that. So this is my way of trying to individualize the instruction as much as possible. That way, if there's a problem here that they didn't understand, they should watch a video, see how it should have been done. That way, when they move forward to the next, check for understanding here, here there's 2 questions on this one. Then afterwards, they watch the answers to that, and it helps. I'm trying to catch misunderstandings as early as possible. If students just keep going, just keep cruising through stuff as fast as possible, then that's going to be less effective, obviously. So yeah, so that's one thing. Another resource would be there's extra examples for each of the lessons. So there's more examples here. If there's something, and these are more specific to the notes. So if there's like a problem, say like the second example I did in the notes, if they didn't fully understand my explanation, they could go watch this video of a different problem that's very, very similar to example 2 in our notes and watch how that one was done. Again, just trying to provide more opportunities for explanations. But yeah, so I think time-wise, I should probably wrap things up. But I'm sure there's a ton of stuff that I could continue talking about. So like I said earlier, if you have any questions, please don't hesitate to email me. You can get my email address off the school's website. But I think the main thing is just I am going to continue to try to provide as many resources as possible for your son or daughter. I'm going to try to be available as much as possible, and I'm going to continue to try to improve our course. Wherever I see fit, whenever I see it's possible. So any suggestions are appreciated, and we'll all just kind of continue to try to do the best we can here with this and make the most of the situation that we're in right now. So I'm sorry again that I couldn't meet you in person, but I hope this helps and gives you a little bit more insight as to what your kids are seeing every day here when they're in algebra class. So all right, thank you very much. Have a good evening. Thanks. Bye.